Alright, this is Vegeta8259, and this is part 2 of the Crossbone Gundam full cloth review. And in this part I'm going to be going over all of the weapons and accessories that come with the full cloth version of Crossbone Gundam. First off, I'll go over the little kind of meaningless accessories. Well, not really meaningless, but the ones that you probably won't be using very much. If I can pick up all these tiny little pieces. Anyway, you do get a small handful of leftover bits from the Crossbone Gundam Verka, mainly parts for the head. As you can see, here's half of the head right here. You get some leftover parts for the head. You get some leftover parts for the chest, basically the parts that don't have the skull and crossbones on the front. You get the leftover chin piece, and that's about it. So while you can certainly use those on the full cloth version, in the manual it has you using the parts that I've got on the master grade right now. So let's start off with the regular accessories that come with the Verka. You get 2 chains that are just straight pieces of plastic, which, I mean, I guess they could have included real chains, but then again, those just would have flopped to the ground. So I guess these are probably a better option, seeing as how these will actually be suspended up in the air. And that skirt armor doesn't want to cooperate. Anyway, what these are is, if I can get this skirt armor out. Man, that is really stuck in there. Dang, that is really tight. I didn't think it would be that tight. Anyway, what you can see this better on my original Crossbone Verka review. What it's supposed to do is you flip these out and it makes like a little anchor, like a little claw that can grab onto ships and stuff. And then you would attach this chain to here, insert it into the ball joint, and it kind of comes out of the skirt armor so the Crossbone Gundam can latch onto ships and things of that nature in space, and sometimes even latch onto other mobile suits. So that's the chain anchors on the front skirts. Now you also get 2 options for the back skirts. On here I've got the regular back skirts that don't do anything. However, you do have the option of putting these on, and they've got little handles that insert onto the side. You pull that out and you get a wire that has this little grappling hook thing on the edge here. Excuse me, I thought I was about to sneeze there. Anyway, I'm actually not really sure what this is. I've looked all through the manual and I can't find a name for this thing. I haven't read the Crossbone Gundam manga, so I'm not sure what it does. It looks similar to the little electric cable that comes out of Goof Customs' arm. And that's the only thing I can think of. But you do get 2 of them, 1 for each back skirt. So you can choose to do that if you want. Also, on the back of the legs, you'll see these little rectangular panels right here. You can pull those out, which produces a handle, and you get a knife blade. And of course you get 2, 1 for each leg. And as you would think, he just wields this like a regular knife. But he can also have the knives come out of the bottom of his feet. So if he kicks, another mobile suit can do a little bit extra damage. So that was actually a pretty nice feature. Put this back in here and move on to the next accessory. Alright. You also get 2 clear pink beam sabers. Here's one with the handle already attached. And I forgot to mention that the Crossbone Gundam does have pegs in his hands and holes in all of his weapons. So that's another thing that people find that they don't like about this kit, is that it doesn't hold his weapons very well. I actually haven't had any problems with him holding the weapons. Now, granted, it's not very fair in this example because a beam saber is light as a feather. But anyway, I'll get to those later. But when you have the beam saber in storage, it just goes up here in the shoulders, and you just slide that in, and it just fits right into place. Now for the last two standard Crossbone Gundam weapons, you get the Buster Gun. I guess different from Buster Rifle, seeing as how it's shaped like a pirate gun. And while it is a little bit awkward to hold just because the handle is so thick and it's at such a different angle than what Gundams are accustomed to, but it does have that peg in the hand. So let's see if I can find the peg. There it is. So the awkward part isn't getting them to hold it, the awkward part is getting him to aim it, because when he holds it, it's just kind of like that, unless you want to actually bend the gun, because it does have a joint in the center, unless you want to do that. Of course, while he's holding it, his thumb is at a crazy angle. Looks like his thumb is broken, but anyway, he does have that. It is molded all in white and gray, so you are going to have to do a little bit of painting with that, unfortunately. But yeah, and you also get the large pirate beam sword, which comes with a beam. Let's see, where is it? There it is. A very large clear pink beam, which just easily goes in the top, and it looks very, very nice. In fact, I think this is probably my favorite weapon of the Crossbone Gundam. And he holds this much easier than he does the Buster Gun. And it just looks really, really nice and really adds to the pirate theme of the mobile suit. And again, no weight issues holding this sword. But that's not all. Not only do you get the two weapons I just showed you, but they can combine to form an even larger weapon. This thing just kind of swings around. This little shield part right here tends to come off easily, and this part folds down, flips up, and then you just combine them together to create the, what they call in the manual, the Zambuster, which is a very large, again, very piratey looking gun, which I equate to a Gundam beam rifle, because it's about the same size and about the same shape. So very nice. And again, it needs some painting to look its best, but not too much, because the gun is mostly white, even after it's painted. So, let's see, moving on, we also get the beam brands, and to use these, you'll have to have Crossbone Gundam make a fist, and this part on the forearm will swing forward, and these beam effect parts just insert in there, and there you go. Now of course he can use these in fighting with obviously damaging results, but I think the main purpose of this is, since it is called the beam brand, what he does is anytime they, I guess, raid a spaceship, the Crossbone Gundam would go up and plunge this into the side of the ship, and it would make a large X mark, like so, into the side of the ship. I guess their signature, their calling card, letting the people know who pulled off the raid of their ship. So anyway, he does get two of these. And now on to the full cloth accessories. I realize that I'm running long on time. Let's see, first off, I'll do the beam shield, which is a very large piece of clear pink, and it has some little additional parts that you have to add on to the bottom. I would recommend gluing these together. That's what I did, because they really tend to come apart easily, and since you're not going to be taking this apart once you put it together, I recommend just gluing it together. And it fits into the same holes that the beam brands went into, and functions as a pretty nice beam shield. I actually like this one a lot better than Victory Gundam or F91's beam shield, just simply because it's a lot easier to put in and take out. Anyway, let's see. Let's go ahead and move on to the full cloth. You get the full cloth actually comes in several parts. Two main parts right here. We've got little skull faces on the sides. And we've got two small pieces here, which are kind of a collar. And then you've got two more smaller parts that go on the front. So to add these on, let's see, these pointy things point forward. These are just going to snap onto the collar like so, just around where the beam sabers are. And then for the, actually let's do these things on the chest first. These are going to clip onto these tiny little clips here on the side, and you get very small little parts that fit right in there and lock those in place. And we do the same thing on the other side. And again, get this very small little piece that'll go in here. If it'll go in here. Oh my goodness. It is not wanting to go. Okay, there we go. Got it. So now, to put these large parts on, you'll just have to flip out this white thing on top of the shoulder, and it really just kind of fits down. There's a peg in there, and it just fits right on top of the shoulder pretty easily. A lot easier than those two parts on the chest I just put on. Anyway, get this on here. It'll go in there. Where's it? Okay, got it. Alright, so there we go. That is the full cloth. And basically, the full cloth is basically just armor, and it's got an anti-beam coating, much like the Hyakushiki, but obviously it's not gold, and serves as extra armor, although, as you can tell, it does kind of get in the way, especially in the way of the arms, and I think that's one thing some people don't like about it. I think the general consensus is that it looks cool, but it really gets in the way of the arm articulation. Although, to Bandai's credit, I'm really impressed with the color separation. All of the reds are where they're supposed to be. All of these nice little yellow thrusters are separate parts. Like I said earlier in part 1, I haven't done any painting. There are no stickers on this kit, so this is all just bare plastic. So Bandai definitely gets thumbs up for the parts color separation. These little white spiky things on the sides can go up and down. Not really sure the point of it though. Anyway, the full armor actually has a little gimmick to it. If I can get these off, I'm going to attempt to. Come on, there we go. Alright, each one of these skulls comes off, and it's got a small little handle down there on the inside. And basically, just like the Beam brand, well, not just like it, but similar to the Beam brand, the Crossbone Gundam can grab onto this, and the teeth kind of go back, and now you have, actually I didn't get it all the way in there. It is kind of hard to get these skulls on the hand. all the way because it's just not really shaped right. Anyway, basically what you're going to have are skull face boxing gloves. Not really sure the point of it, but I'm sure there's a point somewhere. Like I said, I haven't read the manga, so I'm sure that they are actually useful in some way. But even if they aren't, they do look cool. And the final two accessories for the Crossbone Gundam full cloth are its weapons. The Muramasa blaster, which is a very nice large sword, and the Peacock Smasher, which is a crossbow beam cannon type weapon. Let's see. First, I'll do the sword. It comes with two clear pink effect parts, which fit into all these little beam emitter, I guess, parts on the side. And you get a very large, impressive beam sword that obviously is going to do a lot of damage if it hits anything. And it has pegs in both sides of the handles, or the handle, I don't know why I said plural. And I find that Crossbone Gundam holds the Muramasa blaster pretty easily. I haven't, except for when I bend the arm back too far and break the thumb off. I haven't really had any weight issues with this sword. No matter which way I turn it, it pretty much stays in place. Oops. One thing about this is that while the pegs do fit in place pretty well, if you mess with it too much, they're going to fall out easily. So, like, if you put the weapons in his hands and don't mess with them, they'll stay in place. And for the Peacock blaster, if I can find his hand up under all this armor, it actually has some moving parts. These two little yellow fins come out on the sides, and then the whole thing spreads out. And it's actually a very nice little mechanism there. Each one of these little beam cannons is separate, and they all spread out together. So I thought that was a very nice touch. And the handle on this guy only has a peg in one side, so you can only hold it in the right hand, unfortunately. And let's see. Get that in there. And there we go. Again, this full cloth is going to get in the way, so you can pretty much only hold it out at this angle. But again, I don't really have any weight issues with the Peacock blaster, just that the peg tends to come loose a little bit. But then again, either a paint job or a small dab of glue should fix that pretty well. Anyway, I think I've run long enough on this review. I'm already at over 18 minutes. So, I guess that about does it for the Crossbone Gundam full cloth review. Actually, I guess I have to take him apart and do the inner frame last. So I guess I'll do that and do a short part 3 and then my final thoughts on the kit. So I will see you guys next time.